So back at the end of March, I went to Fiber West, which is a yarn convention here right outside of Vancouver, with the original goal to pick up enough roving or wool to spin my very own sweater quantity of yarn, with hopes at the end to knit it up into a lovely, beautiful sweater. I think today is the day that I'm gonna start spinning my very first sweater quantity of yarn. And if you guys are new here, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Ev, and I like to make videos here on YouTube about knitting and now most recently spinning. I picked up 2 pounds of 100% Gotland wool. So this is the wool. It is a top roving wool. I think I might actually just back you guys. I'm just gonna try to find the beginning because it is kind of one giant noodle. And I'm just gonna kind of roll it up into different sections because I'm not gonna spin this all in one go from one. I'm gonna have to split it up anyways as I spin it, but I think this is where the beginning is. But it was from Birkeland Bros Wool from Abbotsford, BC. It is Gotland top 27 to 33 micron. How long do you guys think it'll take me to spin up 1 pound of Gotland roving? Honestly, I might even split these up again. Rachel did say in the Gotland video that I will link below, but I've just been catching up on old lives, and I watched the one where she spun up Gotland wool that she had got from a subscription box. I think it was the Long Way Homestead. I watched all about the Gotland and her experience with Gotland, and I learned that Gotland is a long-haired wool, which means that it has a very long staple length, which is very interesting because Gotland is also, some people compare it to mohair. I'm actually going to break this here. Oh, no, it just undoes. Okay. Some people actually compare it to mohair because it kind of has a natural halo. So I'm looking forward to actually spinning that. It's a different spin. And apparently Gotland is one of those wools that kind of has a natural curl to it. You don't want to overspin it because then it can turn into rope. But because it has such character, you don't want to underspin it because then it won't turn into anything. It'll just fall apart. That's what I was trying to say. So this isn't going too bad. I've been pretty well able to find the beginning and end of this roving. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start spinning, and then once we have 2 bobbins full, we are going to kind of do a mock-up skein, see if this is actually a yarn that I want to knit a sweater from. Okay, so I'm going to do a plyback test. A plyback test is basically you take what you spun and you pull it out as so to a decent length, and then you just kind of let it like ply back on itself. That's why it's called a plyback test. There you go. So if we take a look here, you can kind of see what the spin will look like as a 2-ply before it is washed and blocked. Basically, this just helps you figure out your wraps per inches. So if I just take this one strand, it is at about a 22 wraps per inches. So together, both plied makes for, now this is kinky, but it makes for an 11 wraps per inches fiber, which is would be a medium weight yarn, which is perfect. I kind of want a light to medium weight yarn. My goal for the sweater would be to knit a sport or DK weight yarn. As I was just transferring footage from my camera to my computer, I was watching a Rachel Smith video, and one tip that she did give, which might mean a little more time before we get into the official spinning, I'm gonna spin up a mini skein. So I've split the yarn into 36 grams of fiber and 37 about grams of fiber. I'm gonna spin them onto 2 separate bobbins, ply it together, see if I like it, swatch it up, and then see if I like the actual material that I have spun up, because she was saying the worst thing you could do is spin up 5 pounds of fiber, because the person had 5 pounds of fiber, and knit this really long, beautiful cable knit sweater. But they were really disappointed in it because in the end, they never really liked the yarn they spun up, and spinning takes a lot of time. So instead of wasting all that time into realizing at the end you don't like what you made. Okay, so if I want a 14, which is a fingering weight, I'll say 14 to 12 wraps per inch would be beautiful. 14 is fingering. So then that means I need a 24 to 22. So I'm not spinning fast enough. Okay. Yeah. Crap. Crap, crap, crap. I need to get more twist. I need to get... I just spun the first half. Oops. So this is just 25 grams. This is really nothing. And another thing I noticed, which was really helpful, is putting my little row counter directly on my knee as I was laid back and sitting. I thought that was because the pillow is just a little bit too big. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes when there's like a little part that is way too thick, I just stop my wheel and then like slowly untwist it with one hand, like counter twist my hand, and then I just like try to fix it a little bit. Sometimes that does cause the yarn to like split, which then I need to reconnect it, or sometimes it doesn't, it ends up being too thin then. It's very like on and off if it works or not. I'm assuming with practice, I'll get better at that. Although I can kind of already tell when I first started this one, I kept breaking and dropping the yarn and having a hard time. So far on my second bobbin, it's been working really well. Now let me see if I jinxed it, but it's been working a lot better. So basically here are the two bobbins. This is the first one I spun up. This is the second one. And honestly, the second one went by a lot quicker, a lot smoother. I'm just creaming my hands right now because they're very dry and no. It's like an oil thing, but now all the hairs are sticking to my hands. So this might not have been the best thing. Also, my pants are covered in fiber. And I'm just gonna let them rest for like an hour. I probably won't do anything. I also have to go run an errand and then I will come back and ply. Sorry for the lighting, but at the end of the day, what can I say? Does that rhyme? End of the day, say. I am a poet. That is true. We are now going the opposite way. Yeah, so I'm more at 40 degrees, so I want to get a 30 degree. So I'm just gonna... It is another day. I am in fact wearing the Elizabeth blouse again. And this kind of tends to happen when I just finish a knit. I'll wear it for like a couple days. I have a little card here with the yarn not washed or blocked. So this is what I am left with. And then I just, as like a sample, so when I spin it, I can look at the 2-ply and single. And then I went ahead and I washed this one. So this is washed, dried, it dried overnight really quickly. So this is the beautiful yarn that I am left with. It bloomed and blossomed like really well. And the fiber has a really nice kind of halo to it. Let's measure at a couple places and we'll kind of just do a roundup. 11. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting 11 wraps per inches. So I'm guessing that overall my spin is between 12 to 10, but mainly an 11. 10. Damn, I'm a lot more consistent. So I would say that this is probably more of a DK with a little bit of sport and like 1 or 2 bumps of worsted, sorry, not Aran, worsted, which is pretty consistent. One tip from one of the videos that I saw from Rachel Smith, I'm gonna keep naming her probably for this entire series, but one tip that she did suggest in one of the videos was to, when you spin for a sweater, to kind of work, like mark your bobbins 1, 2, whatever. Work in a way that you spin your first one and your last one and ply those together, and then in, ply, in, ply, and then in, ply. So that your worst spin, which typically will be your first one, will go with your best spin, which is typically your last one, because you'll have been used to the fiber by then. And I mean, after a sweater, it should just be like muscle memory, hopefully. It's been a little bit of a while. I got a little bit scared and I decided to take a couple days just to think things through. But I think I have sorted it out. So here's my master plan. I think with the swatch, I'm gonna be keeping, I have this little card here with some unwashed, just spun up wool. And I think I'm going to keep it and use it kind of like as a go-to as I spin my main spin when I do ply back tests, just to compare to make sure that I am consistent. I have also decided that the best needle size for this would be a 5mm needle or a US 8. That would work best with my current ply. And we'll see. I think I'm gonna knit up a swatch. I'm gonna knit 1/2 with US 8, 5mm needles. And then depending on what the fabric looks like, I might actually go up a needle size or down a needle size just to compare. So of course, if it's way too tight, I'll go up a needle size, and if it's way too loose, I'll go down. So that's what I'm gonna go with. So let's just find my 9. Actually, do I have it in DPNs? That would be swell. It is the afternoon now. The sun has been shining in on my apartment all afternoon, and the floor that I am standing on is super, super warm. So I'm gonna try to do this quickly because it's very hot on my feet. I ended up knitting the swatch. I pinned it on this little board right here just because I need to wash and block it. So it's a little bit curly, but I kind of wanted to show you guys just before so that I can kind of end the video at some point. And here it is. So I did do a purled row in between the two. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know, it's a little bit funky right now because the sun is half in my apartment, half not. The top is with the US 8, which is 5mm needles, and then the bottom is with 5.5, which is US 9mm. I ended up going wider, and frankly, I think I could go with an even wider, bigger needle, but I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I did do a little bit of a rib here just to test out 6 rows in total of ribbing, just to see what it would look like. And I do think that the 5mm needle looks better in rib than the 9. So if I do find detailed ribbing, I'm most likely going to go with the smaller needle. But yeah, I could go bigger with the needle because this does create a pretty dense fabric. But I think I'm going to stick with the 5.5. It's a little more rustic and woolly than I thought it would be, but I'm pretty sure that with washing it, it'll soften it up. I for sure don't think, but as of right now, I think this might just become a layering piece. I don't think that this will be yarn that will feel good directly on my skin. And also because it is so thick, it's just such a warm and fuzzy material. I don't think I could make like a t-shirt in this. I would just sweat right through it, which is actually really cool. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna call quits and turn off my camera because it is getting so warm in here. I just want to close my blinds and get the sun off my legs. It's so hot. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything spinning, everything knitting, I highly recommend you guys subscribe to the channel, like this video, and this will hopefully become a couple part series. I don't exactly know as of this moment where I will split this up, if I will split it up by the pound. I mean, I still need to figure out how to split this up. I don't know how long it's going to take to spin all this yarn. Hopefully not too long. So if you're really curious, please like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for being here. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.